Hey guys, I'm back. So, welcome back to the Heroes Global Summer Circuit. This is the Philippines Finals happening right now. So, apparently, we were mistaken by the format. It's actually just a best of five, but with no advantage to the winners at all. So, it's just going to be a best of five. Right now, Renovatio is 2 and up. If they win this game, they will be able to take the entire championship. Of course, Team Resistance they can still come back from this if they win these next 3 games. It's going to be a really uphill battle for them to climb, and Renovatio still has 3 games in hand, in a sense, but they definitely can still do it. My name is Arctic Shadow, and let's go into the draft. I believe we have the draft already. So it's a bit of a weird structure, but I guess every country has its own structure. Renovatio coming from the winners bracket. This is just a best of five this time around. Is this going to be Sky Temple? So will Renovatio actually win it all here with this draft and this game? That is the question. Or the Resistance, will they actually be able to come back into this? So I saw a Twitch chat as well. Some people were confused by the logos, Renovatio against Renovatio. What's happening is actually because the Resistance is part of Renovatio. So the team of Renovatio is just, they are tagged as the Resistance. So it's like a Renovatio.tr kind of thing. They are team number 2. Renovatio is the main team. So it gets a bit confusing. They actually have a third team which lost earlier on called Corpse Camping. That's the third team over at Philippines. So yes, it does get kind of confusing, but it's good because at least we can see, esports being built up there in the Philippines for sure. At least these teams will constantly have people to scrim against, to train against, to discuss tactics. At the end of the day, they're all part of the same team. So as we mentioned earlier, this is going to be Sky Temple. Renovatio going to be taking on Renovatio 2, the Resistance. And the bans are about done. I think Kelta's gonna be the first ban for the Resistance. Falstad over on Renovatio. They just don't want to deal with the Falstad yet again. Tasada gonna be the second ban of the Resistance here. With Greymane, Illidan, and Rhaegar being the first picks. So Greymane, Illidan, and Rhaegar. Illidan, man. We haven't seen an Illidan. I mean, we've seen one Illidan so far today, and it didn't do too well. I believe it lost actually in the game. But this time around, we are going to see Renovatio instead with the Illidan. No Sonya just yet. Banned out actually by Renovatio because it is the hard counter to that Illidan. Tasada being taken away by Resistance as well in the ban. So I think the next best hero here for Renovatio, Abathur, guys. Abathur. Oh my. First time we're going to see it in today. Tracer going to be picked up by the Resistance. We saw Tracer being picked up yesterday in a couple of games. I think 3 of the games yesterday were where Tracer was picked up. It had a 0% winning rate. It lost 100% of games, which was unfortunate. But it was just in games where it didn't really shine. It couldn't really shine in those matchups here. Here in Sky Temple, I guess it does okay against Illidan. Illidan, she can't really kite Illidan that well, but still okay, I guess. They do have the Rhaegar as well to give the charge. So it's all going to depend on what Renovatio picks up as their last 2 picks. I would like to see them go with Abathur for sure. Considering they have the Illidan, they need to give it a buff here. Abathur would be nice. They do look like the shadow picking, and they do in fact pick up the Tyrael, and there you go. They're listening to me right now. Abathur is going to be the final pick along with Tyrael. It's a pretty strong combination here. Tyrael with the Sanctification up in front. Abathur going to be able to clone the Illidan or the Greymane. I think the Greymane should be better here and had the Illidan early on. With Rhaegar providing support, Illidan's going to rip through the Resistance for sure. Their final pickup instead is going to be actually the Malfurion, which is interesting for me. Uther was still available, Tyrande was still available. Well, I guess Tyrande isn't really viable considering it's more of a secondary support, but Uther was definitely still available, and we have Renovatio with the Sanctification. I think a Divine Shield would have been better, especially if Illidan goes straight for your Li Ming. You definitely want to have the Divine Shield available for her. Zul going to be the other pickup as well. So Malfurion, Zul, Tracer, Muradin, and Li Ming. So they have a strong front line in Muradin, along with Zul, who does soak quite a bit of damage himself. Backline is going to be the Li Ming and the Tracer. The problem with Tracer, I feel, in this game is he kind of only is able to kite Tyrael. I'm not sure how he's going to fit into this team again. We'll just have to wait and see. Maybe she can hunt down the Abathur in the back lines. maybe that will be her job, is going in the back lines and taking down the Abathur before it even starts. She should be able to kite Illidan decently, not really well, but it's going to take some time for this Tracer to actually start picking up. Li Ming, of course, we've seen the burst that it can be dealt with, the resistance that in the previous game, it took not the foul start so quickly. Malfurion is my only a bit confused hero pick. Uther was still available. I think I would have gone with Uther instead, but Malfurion is fine as well. Does do quite a bit of overtime healing. It's just when you're fighting against a team with quite a bit of burst in Greymane and Illidan, along with Abathur, who would probably clone the Greymane, so you're dealing with two Greymanes and an Illidan. I think it's going to be necessary to get an Uther for the burst heal instead of the overtime heal. So I think that's my only concern here for the resistance. So I think I'm going to have to give it to Renovatio just because of their draft. They do have the Illidan and the Abathur in the upfront lines. Abathur can easily clone the Greymane, and two Greymanes going at your throat, man. Jumping at you and just slashing you down. It's going to be pretty hard to deal with when you're just a solo Malfurion heal over time kind of hero. So I think Renovatio has it. They do have the Rhaegar for the chain heals as well, and Tyr for the front lines with the Sanctification. It is going to help them quite a bit. They do have a Muradin under the Resistance though. That's going to help them in their front lines, but I'm still going to have to give this to Renovatio, I think. Anyway, for those of you just tuning in, this is the Heroes Global Circuit. This is the Philippines Finals, the finals of the finals. I was wrong earlier to say that Renovatio had already won this. It is in fact actually going to be a best of 5 with no advantage to either team, whether or not winner bracket or loser bracket. Something a little bit more different from other regions. But Renovatio will come in. Okay, just got another update from my admin. It actually is still the double elimination with Renovatio getting a one match, but it is, instead of a best of 3 into a best of 1, it's a best of 5 into a best of 1. So Resistance essentially needs to win 4 games in a row, guys. 4 games. They need to win this first best of 5 series, which they are already 2-0 down. They need to win the next 3 games, including this one, which will push it to a rubber set of best of 1, and then win that as well. So they have 4 games in hand, Renovatio, right now. Resistance has to play 4 games and win all 4 games if they want to take the championship from Renovatio. It's not impossible, but it's going to be really hard. I mean, you're going up against a team like Renovatio when you have to win 4 games in a row. It must be really demoralizing for you guys, but hopefully they will be able to keep their morale up and maybe try and fight back into this. But right now, it's just a huge uphill battle to climb for them for sure. Renovatio has 4 games in hand in a way. They can lose the next 3 games and finally win the last game and still win it all. And that huge fight from the Resistance will just be all for nothing. So Renovatio, they definitely can play around a little bit more. They have more leeway to make mistakes. Resistance, on the other hand, they will not be able to do that. So they are doing the same rubber set thing, but instead of a best of 3, which is what the Malaysian finals did, it is going to be a best of 5. So right now, Renovatio 2 and up, they can definitely still win this all with this next game, which they do have a slightly better draft, in my opinion, against going up against the Resistance. So it's going to come down to the execution and seeing how they actually perform and execute this tournaments in this game. So the map is going to be Sky Temple. We're still waiting for the team players to join up. I think one more player is still joining up, and then we'll be ready to go. Again, it is going to be Renovatio versus the Resistance, aka Renovatio 2. These two teams know each other quite well, as they do play against each other, scrimming and training with each other every day probably. If you're just tuning in, this is the Heroes Global Summer Circuit. This is the Philippines Finals. These two teams, Renovatio and the Resistance, will qualify for next week's C Regionals, happening next Saturday and Sunday, guys. So make sure you bookmark your calendars and tune in next Saturday and Sunday. So Renovatio and the Resistance will be taking part alongside the Malaysian counterparts, Black Sheep 5, as well as Sabun Warriors, representing Malaysia. And over in Singapore, we will have Resurgence and Relics, the double R's, again representing Singapore in the C Regionals. Will Renovatio be able to retain their C Championship, or will Resurgence reclaim it, or will one of the newer countries, Malaysia and Thailand, snatch it away? We'll just have to find that out next week. But before that, we have tomorrow's Thai finals as well, guys. So tune in tomorrow at 11 a.m. Singapore time, GMT +8. Thailand finals is going to happen. So we'll be narrowing it down to the final 2 teams tomorrow as well. Uh, Hopefully we'll have an action-packed game again. We've had tons of heroes action these last few days. Yesterday we saw the Singapore final week where again Resurgence went 6-0 throughout the entire bracket, did not drop a single matchup. Renovatio seems to be doing the exact same thing here today. I believe Black Sheep 5 in the Malaysian qualifiers winning it all. They dropped 1 game, but according to them, it was due to some PC and lag issues. They're playing apparently with 20 FPS before they switched PCs or something like that. So they did drop a couple of games there in the Malaysian finals to Sabun Gaming. I think just 1 game. Otherwise, they said they would have won that. So right now, I guess all the champions of each country seem to be doing pretty well. Renovatio not losing a single game yet. It could change right now in this matchup. Resurgence as well not dropping a single game. Black Sheep 5 dropping just the 1. So I'm looking forward to next week's C Regionals. Looking at how all these top teams in Southeast Asia will match against each other till we find that one to represent us all. Represent us in DreamHack. Not too sure if this time around we'll have Renovatio, will we have a Philippine qualifiers, a Singapore team, whatever it is, we will have to find that out next week. I believe we are in the loading screen right now into Sky Temple, guys. This could be the game and the final game if Renovatio is able to take it, or will the Resistance be able to resist it and push them back a little bit more. So the game is loading up. Again, quick shout outs to our sponsors. Razer, our official peripheral sponsor. Thank you so much for sponsoring this tournament, as well as XSplit, our official streaming partner. Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring this live broadcast to you guys. Also, we still have our Twitter shout out. So make sure you guys head over to Twitter and tweet at us HGCSEA. HGCSEA. Tweet at us, and your tweet could be featured on stream here. So make sure you guys just head over there and tweet it up. I think all teams are loaded up. We're just waiting for the players to join in. Hopefully we don't have the same issue where the admin couldn't load up. Instead, it does look like everyone has actually completed their load. Hopefully player 3 can get in soon as well. So if you're just tuning in, as you can see, it is the Heroes Global Circuit. This is the Philippines final. This could very well be the last game. Team Resistance, they have a huge uphill battle to climb. 4 games left for them to win if they want to actually secure this. Renovatio just needs one more win right now, and that's it. Whereas Team Resistance, they need to win 4 in a row. It's going to be a huge battle for them, guys. But hey, we've seen it done before. It might happen now. We'll just have to see. If that happens, that'll be a huge comeback. I would gladly be tired for the sake of seeing this huge comeback. I don't want them to go win like the next 3 games and then lose it finally in the last rubber set. That'd be so anticlimactic, of course. But then I'll just be angry for them wasting all that time. But if they do come back, I hope they win the next 4 games and bring this to that rubber set. In fact. So right now, the game is still loading up. I think that maybe the admin has DC because everyone seems to be loaded up. We might have the same issue as the previous game. One of those games earlier with player 3, also known as admin, DC'd. Hopefully they don't pause it this time just for the admin to rejoin. I believe they are on site, so they can do a standing admin. That should be fine themselves. But we'll just have to wait and see what's going on. Sky Temple is the map, of course. Hopefully we won't have a laggy connection. But right now, we're still just waiting for them. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. If you've been with us since this morning, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much for your encouraging words, all of you who support me. Babel is not around right now. I believe he has retired from casting, unfortunately. But he might guest cast next week, C Regionals. I get the confirmation from the admins later on or tomorrow when Babel actually confirms with it. But he might be guest casting next week. To me, it's more of I'm guest casting beside him, but to him, he is the guest cast because he is in fact actually feel like he has retired from casting himself. But yeah, C Regionals next week. I will be here, of course. Hopefully, Babel will be joining me. That'll be interesting. We'll be a duo ship partner here in the Nexus. It'll be quite interesting. I miss casting with him as well, but so far, I've only been able to cast with him from Malaysia. Never actually got to meet him in real life yet. So that would be a huge opportunity to actually cast alongside him. Still waiting for the game to load up. Finally, it is going to load up. I don't see anyone DCing, so not too sure what was the delay all about. We're going to go into game right now. Red side, Team Resistance, who are 2-0 down. Shotiness going to play on his Li Ming yet again. Me loves Poro on the Muradin yet again. after getting a break in the previous round. 4 gonna be playing, I believe, the support, which is Malfurion. Azurai is going to be on the Zul, and Misery Prox is going to be on the Tracer. So I'm interested to see how Tracer is going to do. Again, I don't know why they're typing Korean words. Not too sure what they're trying to say here, whether they've actually been taking Korean. Anyway, Jumpy Lion over on Team Renovatio will be playing the Illidan. Har is going to be on the Tyrael. Hiskoa is going to be on the Greymane, Stronger on the Rega, and VYY on the Abatur. Early fights here as Jumpy Lion could be in some trouble jumping around in onto the enemy team. Tracer chasing him down a little bit. Totem going to be used as well to slow them out to stop the chase. But that's going to be it. So Sky Temple is one of those maps that definitely can snowball out of control. If you get control of those Sky Temples early on, pushing down those lanes will be pretty quick. And then you should be able to just finish him off once all those keeps are down. All you need is one Sky Temple. After that, a full duration, and you will be able to end the game. So it definitely is one of those maps that can spiral out of control a little bit. But it does take some time to rev up and step up, of course. So right now, Jumpy Lion in the top lane going up against Tracer. He's just slashing and dashing in. Tracer trying to keep up with him. That melee hit onto the Jumpy Lion as well. Here comes Har though from the side. Sword not going to connect there. It's just there to harass him a little bit. No one at the middle lane. We do have the VYY at the middle lane, so he should be there to soak up on that EXP. Bottom, we will see Rega and his Goa on the Greymane going up against this Zul. He should have a pretty decent time. Tira just rotating between lanes. The hat now will be used on Har. The first set of Sky Temples are going to spawn. It's always going to be the same. The middle and the top. Illidan here could be in some trouble. He's getting rooted here. Jumps in onto that Malfurion and is able to get away. So he's going to be fine here. The rest of the blue side, they are rotating around. They do want to get that middle Sky Temple, I presume, as Illidan heads towards the top lane. Taps on the fountain. Taps on the well. And starts heading towards that direction. I don't think he will be able to stop him. He's just going to be able to push down these creep waves. Tracer just shooting at him again. Probably going to get the bomb. His ultimate charged up really, really soon. Shoddiness again with the magic missiles trying to collect them and hit them. It does look like they are just going to leave the Tyrael there while they send the rest to the top lane. They could actually get this here. Illidan going in onto the Tracer, taking quite a bit of damage. She's going to have to back off. No rewind just yet. She does have those blink charges though, so she should be fine. They are going to be able to stop out this Sky Temple push just as about it reaches almost half the ammo. Illidan is still there. They still have full control of the middle one. They're just trying to delay this out for as long as they can so that they can get some time to go to the top lane. It does look like the middle tower is down. Fort not down just yet. They will be able to signal towers, but here comes the blue side. Renovatio coming in. Dwarf Toss used by Muradin to get himself away. Nice stun there onto Illidan, but he's going to fall nonetheless. Shoddiness dropping really low as well. Tracer in the background. No rewind just yet. He's going to be able to blink away though. But the damage has already been done. They will be able to get control of this Sky Temple at this top lane and finish off the rest of the remaining ammo. So definitely point Renovatio as they do pull themselves ahead one level right now, as it is poking down on the towers as well as the gates. So middle tower is down, just the fort standing, but Renovatio definitely did come out on top in that first set of Sky Temples. The next one is going to spawn right at the bottom lane, and that's where the next clash is probably going to happen, probably soon in about 2 to 3 minutes time. VYY still at the bottom lane, just putting mines everywhere. Red team now picking out a couple siege camps here. Blue team is doing the exact same thing. So both teams have the right idea right now. Azurai just pushing down this bottom lane right now with the Zul. Definitely a fast pushing hero for sure. Tyrael has to be careful here. Now we see the Stormbolt going to connect onto Har. In comes the Tracer, shooting him down, but it is of course a Tyrael. Not that easy to take down. Shoddiness with the side, with the Arcane Arm going to be used onto Illidan. It's not going to be enough though. Muradin now rotating towards that top. They will get control of this watchtower, further giving them vision to prevent them from those ganks. Zul at the bottom lane is going to have to back off. And note, Abatur is only going to have a body in the fight upon reaching level 10, and only for a short duration of time. So right now they are still playing 4v5, so to say. Which can be a bit of a trouble, but they are still pushing ahead by one level. Muradin here could be in some trouble himself. Illidan gonna get rooted. No, he actually will be able to jump away to safety. Zul gonna be able to get behind the walls back to his own safety too, as the rest of the blue side, Renovatio, grouping up with their team, pushing down this bottom here, probably trying to get this gate down. With the next Sky Temple about to spawn at the bottom lane, I think this is the right idea that they have to push down this bottom fort for sure. Here we see Azurai though going in, taking quite a bit of damage. No Dwarf Horse just yet by that Muradin, but he will be able to get back to safety. Tap on that fountain and he should be fine. Here comes Li Ming. Next Sky Temple is going to spawn at the bottom lane. They were unable to take down the towers along with the gate, which is a bit unfortunate for them. Tracer is now making his way towards that bottom. Will they be able to catch him out? I don't think so. It does look like they are just going to clear out this middle lane. Abatur is going to rotate towards that top, and he should be able to clear out the top lane as well. Elida now making his way towards that top, along with the Rhaegar. So it does look like they just want to give this bottom lane up. They're going to leave a Tyro there to deal with the defense here, but it does look like they are going to send the Illidan along with the Grey Mage towards that top lane. They are going to give away the bottom Sky Temple, I assume. No, they are actually just going to clear out the creep wave and make their ways towards that. I disagree with that because they're wasting a lot of time. They wasted time going all the way to the top, and look at that, the Sky Temple is almost gone now, so I definitely disagree with them actually doing that. Greymane instead is actually just going to stick at the middle lane, and they've given the red team a chance to come back into this. They used up basically almost all the ammo. The blue side now, Tyrio just go in and just tank it all up. They will get the final 4 or 5 charges and hits, but it's not really going to do much of anything at all, so... Now the blue side going in for the boss here, but I think Muradin knows what's going on. He will come in from the side. They will spot him out. Tyria going to spot him out as well, but the blue side, they want to go for the boss. Nonetheless, Zul is not in this fight. Arcane Orb going to connect on 2 there. Magic Missiles narrowly missing out. The boss, in fact, will go down, and the blue team will be able to get it. So really ballsy play by Renovatio as they do achieve that level 10. Here comes the clone on the Greymane. Muradin taking quite a bit of damage. We'll have to back off to safety, but the boss is going to spawn up in favor of the blue side, and it does look like it's pushing down this bottom lane. They are just going to leave it to do some damage onto the towers. It probably will take down 1 or 2 towers. I don't think it will take down the fort, but here comes the blue side. They want to push with it. They've decided. They're going to do that. They go in for the Malfurion. Malfurion here in some trouble. No level 10 yet. No Tranquility. He will get the Tranquility just in the nick of time. Gets it off. Actually, will not get it off, in fact. And he gets taken down. Did he actually go for the Tranquility? It did look like he didn't go for the Tranquility. He actually went for Twilight Dream. Huh. That is interesting to say the least, as now we see the clash going to continue here. Rhaegar, Ancestral Healing going to pop Illidan right back up as they pick off Muradin. Shardiness could be in some trouble himself. Illidan going to finish off Tracer as well, going to fall as a nice 4 kill. Why did Malfurion go Twilight Dream? Was that a misclick? He just achieved level 10. He was dropping and he was dying really low. I think he might have misclicked his skill, went for Twilight Dream instead of the Tranquility. So his heals are going to be really weak, and if you look at the other skills, I think it's probably just a misclick, because if you look at his other talent points, he's definitely going full support for sure. But going for the Twilight Dream on the ulti, that is definitely has to be a misclick. We'll have to ask him that after the matchup ends, but I think it probably is a misclick by his part, because he was just rushing to get it to keep himself alive at that bottom lane, but led to the mistake of him picking up Twilight Dream instead. So that's really interesting. Wave of 4 is going to be picked up by the Li Ming yet again, as we saw again with the same as the previous round, going the teleport route. Poison Nova by Zul instead of the mages. Avatar going to be picked up by the Muradin, and of course Tracer going to be picking up the Solar Bomb damage, I believe. Or which one is this? Sorry, increase, yeah, Charge Rate. Sorry, Charge Rate Bomb. Pretty standard picks so far. Har taking quite a bit of damage now. Misery procs going in. They're trying to take control of the Sky Temple. The bottom one is still available though, but they want to contest for this one right now. Abatur is not here. Illidan isn't here just yet. They will use the clone up onto Greymane. Greymane goes in, takes out the Malfurion. And this is the problem when you don't have the Tranquility. Down goes the Tracer as well. I think that misclick, if it was a misclick or a judgment call to go with the Twilight Dream instead of Tranquility, is going to cost them this game, because they just don't have enough heals to sustain this. And with Rhaegar in the fray of things, it's just not going to be easy at all for them. Look at Azura. He just doesn't know what to do. It almost at this point looks like they've given up, to be honest. If you look at the way that team, the Resistance is playing, it almost looks like they have given up. I hope that was a misclick and it wasn't like a judgment call to go with Twilight Dream, because it definitely was the wrong option for sure. Now they don't have enough sustain to deal with the amount of burst damage that's coming out from both the Illidan as well as the Greymane, as well as in cloned Greymane. So the middle Sky Temple is going to be fully taken by the blue side. They are 2 levels ahead right now, Renovatio, as they look to hit top, probably to the bottom. They want to clear up some of these creep waves first before heading there to deal with that. But right now, it looks like the red team, they don't really know what to do. They're kind of just roaming around aimlessly. Tracer at the top lane, I mean, he's trying to clear out those creep waves, but they can't really contest this. Sky Temple as well. Illidan is just going to stand there. Muradin is heading towards the direction, clearing out the creep wave, but I don't think he's going to be able to stop it in any way. They're just going to leave one Illidan there because they know that the Resistance can't actually fight this. While the rest of Renovatio actually just goes and get those camps. The boss is not up just yet. Here we see the Muradin again getting spotted out by the Tyria. He goes in with a Thunderclap. His team isn't there though. He's going to get healed. Here comes the root, but it's not going to connect onto anyone. And again, the red team, they are just a bit too far behind. Almost a talent tier behind as they clear out this creep wave probably. The blue side, they will be able to get the level 16 talent tiers. Arcane are going to be used again, connecting on Tyria. Muradin is still waiting in the background. They will get their level 16 talents available. Muradin with the Stormbolt going to connect, but that's going to be all as they will be able to take down the Siege Cam yet again. And yeah, it just looks like right now the Resistance, they just don't know what to do. They're in disarray. I think that Twilight Dream pickup is just cost them so much momentum here. It lost them the last clash, and right now it's just making them a little bit confused on what to do. Renovatio look like they want to end this right here, right now. They are a talent tier ahead. Illidan jumps in. No Poison Nova used just yet. Here comes Arcane Orb slashing onto the Tyria, but he does look like he's going to get the keep here. Jumpy Lion again going in with the amount of heals. Look at him. Sanctification not used just yet. Tyria dropping really low. Finally going to drop. No Sanctification actually going to be used in the nick of time. Tracer will be able to get out of there. Arcane Orb going to be used as well. Not going to connect. Here comes the Poison Nova, but Jumpy Lion just too strong. Going back in again, Avatar going to be used by that Muradin, but he's dropping too low. He gets taken down. Illidan going to try and finish this off. Metamorphosis is already used. He takes down 1, he takes down 2, he takes down 3, he takes down 4. Oh, Shardin is actually being able to survive there, but it does look like Renovatio will end this game right now. 11 minutes in. I don't see any way for a solo Li Ming to do this. It's going to be GG. I think, honestly, it's maybe just fatigue or just they feel like they've given up at the end of it all. But Renovatio will finally, at the end of it, end it all. It is going to be 3-0 to Renovatio. They will be able to get that game. It seemed a really anticlimactic way to win this game. I think the previous game was a better way to go out. But Team Resistance, they put up one hell of a fight in the last few games. Aside from this one, I think this again the pickup of Twilight Dream was just there. Let's take a look at what happened in the last clash. I believe we do have a replay. As you can see here, you know, the damage was already done. Harhar in the background. Stronger managed to get away. He blinked in. Sanctification not used just yet. 4 getting taken down really, really low. But Illidan, look at that. Metamorphosis, and that was the end of it all. Went in straight for the Tracer. Poison Nova was going to be used. He tries to get away as far as he can, but he turns around. Here we see the Illidan turning around, going onto the Tracer. Greymane actually going for the throat there, finishing off the Tracer. Illidan, he's just so cocky. He goes in, kills off the Muradin, finishes off the Tracer, I mean the Zul, as well as the Malfurion. Actually, Li Ming almost falling there, and then in the end they just went down for the core, and it just wasn't enough. It just was enough for Team Renovatio to end this game, of course. So unfortunately for the Resistance, they weren't able to win this game and push it to a next game decider. But yeah, we are going to, I guess, end the day here instead. Renovatio, ultimately the champions, as mentioned earlier on, Renovatio will go on 3-0 win streak, not dropping a single game. They will be the ultimate Philippine champions, so congratulations to them. They will not be forced to a rubbish set. Renovatio will be the champions, but of course the Resistance will be representing Philippines in the C Regionals next week as well. Remember guys, tomorrow Thailand finals, 11 AM Singapore time. That's GMT +8. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow for the Thailand finals. Next week will be the C Regionals, and I'll be bringing you the cast throughout this entire day. Hopefully you guys, thank you so much for supporting the entire day today. For those of you tuning in since this morning, thank you for being here. It's been a long day. Make sure to go get some rest, play some more HOTS, and get yourself warmed up. Until next time guys, this is Arctic Shadow signing out. In Ham, he's dropping extremely low though. Faustad in the backline is gonna get taken down. Milos Poro, he might not want to drop here. Blessed Shield finally gonna be used to proc. Down goes the Sonya as well with the Arcane Orb with the resets. Down goes another one with the Arcane Orb as Li Ming is gonna have to back off here. So a nice